Welcome aboard our Battleships podcast. This is a podcast analyzing anime relationships, whether they be canon or one the fans enjoy. Please be aware that our battleships are equipped with state-of-the-art weapons designed to leave no ships behind. If there is a ship that you hold dear to your heart, there's a possibility we don't. We are not aiming our cannons at you personally and mean no harm by sharing our opinions with you. We are simply anime fans talking about ships we either love or hate. This is not an informative podcast, so don't take anything we say as gospel. Keep in mind, our sails are painted in the blood of many spoils of war, displaying everything beginning to end. If you haven't seen the anime, we will reveal many of the exciting details to you, so you have been alerted. Again, this is your spoiler warning. Thank you for listening. I will now hand the wheel over to our captains.
Welcome to Battleships, Shipped or Sunk. We are anime fans discussing anime ships that we love or hate and come to a final discussion. Do we ship a pairing or do we sink it with our cannons? My name is Zephra and I am the horny bisexual.
Yes, this is true.
Yep. And I'm Kaylee. I'm the asexual who somehow came up with this romance podcast. So I am the polar opposite of you, Zephra.
But we both love them gays.
Yep, that is true.
Very, very, very true. Include me in though too. Me too.
And then there's this one over here.
I'm not included in the crew. Here it is. Hello, all. I'm Juno, and I'm the romantic bisexual.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yep, the hopeless romantic.
Yes. Romance is one of my favorite genres, after all, for a reason.
She even likes the hopeless couples.
Yes.
I mean, I'm a sucker for the tragic couples too, but they have to be good.
You weren't for
ones.
Aaron and Mikasa.
Yeah, no, I have to be good.
We will be starting our episode off with a roll for ship. This is a list of romantic questions that we carefully came up with. We will be rolling a D100 to determine the question we answer before we talk about today's couple. Let's roll.
Rattle.
91.
Ooh,
That's a high.
That's a good one. That's a chunky high one. It's not the highest we've gotten, but it is up there. What ship came out of nowhere that you have mixed feelings about?
One that I have mixed feelings about is Beef Leaf. If you don't know Beef Leaf, it is from Heaven Official's Blessing between He Xuan and Shi Xing Xuan.
I also have torn feelings about this couple because they're so cute, but also like,
damn, their history and all that shit.
The circumstances are just awful. Fucking older brother.
no
She would do.
She voodoo.
Yeah, no, if She Voodoo wasn't there, they probably would have been a thing.
Well, if they both ascended like they are supposed to, I think Shi Xing Xuan would have taken a little longer, but I can see that I feel like he would have ascended.
Yeah. I think it would be cute if Shi Qing Xuan and He Xuan had met somewhere along the way. Although I guess if Shi Wudu wasn't in the picture, then He Xuan would have still had his wife and his kids and stuff. So
And
maybe
he would have had his wife and kids, but he was on the road to ascension.
Yeah.
Because Shi Wudu took his ascension. So
And
he
he
would have ascended. And unless he took his wife and kids up with him,
Oh, that's true.
His kids, they would have lived a long life, or lived and then died on their own terms. He would have made sure of that.
Yeah.
Before they pass. And by the time Xing Xuan would have ascended, maybe it would have taken even longer before those two
met.
But at least we could have been comforted in that they would have likely have been friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even if they hadn't become, the tragic couple that we know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I still understand Shiwudu's reasons for wanting to save his brother. It's a mess all around. Like, everyone wanted to save everyone, like their loved ones. But it just went down the wrong road in so many ways.
I love how it played.
You love your angst, I know. And knowing what happens in canon is worse. But
Yixuan kept watch over Shi Qingxuan too.
I know he did, but that's what makes it horrible, is he never showed himself again.
Yeah.
To our beautiful former Windmaster. And then when he dies, so does he, because then his reason to, keep existing is gone. So then they both go, and it's just the tragedy, it hurts.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good choice.
Yeah, I mean, it came out of nowhere because, at first, I didn't really ship them, but then, obviously, then I read the books, and then I'm like, oh, I could see it, and then it's just oh, the pain.
So when I was reading it, the Donghua had just gotten announced, and so I was like, crap, I gotta read this thing before the, Donghua comes out, and I had already gotten some spoilers here and there. So I didn't think of them as a couple until I was already in book 3 reading the whole Blackwater arc. And I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. So yeah. But yeah.
I had to put the book down after that arc for a little bit because I was just it hurts so much.
Well, and Shi Qingxuan is your favorite character, too.
One of my favorite characters, for sure. And we do say that I'm the Windmaster in our group.
Yeah.
So it was just whammy everywhere.
Alrighty, I guess I'll go next. I am so torn about this couple because I love this couple, but I can also understand why people wouldn't ship them. And this is Mikaela and Yuichiro from Seraph at the End. You and Mika. Because holy shit, they definitely play it off as very gay, but at the end of the day, they are orphanage siblings. They are siblings in the aspect that they grew up together and they were raised by the same group of kids and same people. So in a way, they're brothers, and I have such torn feelings about it. And I honestly do not think that they were a ship until halfway through the anime when I was like, oh, wait, now this is getting really much more gay than it was before. So, yeah.
I can see what you mean.
When you introduced this to me, you introduced it as a gay. So I was already seeing that, but for that is one of those I saw as, okay, they're family, they're like a family, and it just grew more. It's just grew in the feelings between them grew in a different way.
Yeah, it's so hard because I saw the opening for the second half of the season where they're touching foreheads together and stuff like that, the very iconic scene. And I was torn because I'm like, okay, that's cute as hell, but they're siblings in a way.
Same here, but for me at least, I kind of consider I can see them as family because, Mika's always yelling that you is his family, but I can also see it as it could change over time. So it's just, yeah, I haven't read the manga, so I guess I haven't gotten more of the context. Mm-hmm. So I'm just I waver on these two as well.
Yeah.
You could say after they escaped, after they left, their brothership died. they really thought the other was dead.
Mm-hmm.
So when they reconnected or got back together and reconnected, it changed into something more.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you stabs Mika with the sword and Mika blushes. So they're just like, a blush? Like, what's that supposed to mean?
Well, and okay, the scene that really drives this whole thing home is when Yuichiro gives blood to Mika for the first time. That whole scene is way too damn sexual to be, or like there's too much sexual tension for it to just be brothers. So
It's so hard. Yeah. Okay, my ship that came out of nowhere that I had mixed feelings about was Satan or Sadao Mao and Emi Yusa from The Devil as a Part-Timer.
Okay, yep.
I mean, it could be seen as enemies to lovers, but for some reason, I have a really hard time computing how Satan would be attracted to Emmy with how she behaves
Yeah.
so much with him. And at the same time, I understand why she acts the way that she does with him, because he is supposed to be evil incarnate. You know, he's the reason her dad died, like in this war, and Satan is nice to her. And so, like, I just see him more like pitying her, like when she's like, "Open the door," and like just banging on the door, and they're just like, "Oh my god, just let her in." Like,
It's like the you hear and witnessed and felt the repercussions of that terrible, terrible boss that we all know and hate, and then you finally actually get to meet them and actually get to know them, and the way they're acting is much different than the trouble they've caused and all the rumors you've heard. It's like that.
Yeah.
exactly. And it pisses me off when Satan does try to be kind to her, despite the fact, you know, she's out for his life. And she beats the shit out of him. Like when he catches her that one time when she's like sprinting away from the door from being caught, and she falls down the freaking stairs and he catches her and he's just like, really? And then she proceeds to kick him in the face. I'm just like,
it makes me feel like he hasn't had a female interaction ever.
I mean, with his you know, his whole group, all of them are male, so maybe.
And they're all demons, which the nature of demons is destroying destruction and causing mayhem and chaos.
well,
So to have a mix of that, but different.
Well, I don't see it as that, because I mean, his reasoning for starting the war was he wanted to make the lives of his people better. He wanted to expand his territory and everything for his people. So, I mean, when you think about that in that context, like, what if like Emmy's people had started the war, you know, to try to take away from his people? It's like, I don't know. It's super hard for me to see how people can ship them when how Emi Yusa treats Satan.
Yeah.
I almost even liked him better with Chiho, the high school girl who likes him so much and is like, "Oh, you're a demon king." Okay. Like, she just like embraces it and is okay with it. So I don't know. I mean, that's probably a weird shit to consider too, but I liked them better because at least she treated him much better than Emi ever did.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard for me to ship them, but I can see why people ship them. And I haven't seen the second season, so, and they apparently now have some child. So I'm just like, okay, I guess I better watch the second season to kind of see how this plays out.
Yeah, I haven't seen the second season either, but I did see some clips that I'm like, oh, okay then.
Now, our fellow shippers, it's time to talk about our couple, William James Moriarty and Sherlock Holmes from Moriarty the Patriot.
Our crime lord and our detective.
One of those classic examples of enemies to lovers type style.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, they weren't necessarily enemies at first.
That is true. The first time they met, they were not enemies.
For the longest time, Sherlock did not know that Moriarty was his enemy. So I would say that's half true because Moriarty, we'll get into this. But first, their looks. We got blonde hair with red eyes, and generally brown, earthy colors. And then we have Sherlock with blue hair.
No, what?
It's black blue. It's a black blue. It's a black blue.
So it's a very, 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 very dark blue. There are hints of blue in certain lighting, but that is just the undertone of black hair.
Yeah, it's the undertone. So you have Sherlock with the black undertone of blue hair and dark blue eyes and more of that casual black suit.
Can I please talk about one thing that I absolutely love with this couple with their aesthetics?
Oh,
Sherlock looks like a fucking disaster wreck the entire time. Whereas Moriarty looks like a noble. And
he's upkept, and Sherlock looks like he just rolled out of bed.
Honestly, that does match their status because Sherlock, he's middle class, so he has the nice suits of the higher, but roll out of bed, very casual.
Calls it good.
I love Sherlock for that so fucking much because he just is like, yeah, sure, whatever. Whereas Moriarty's like, I gotta plan every little tiny thing in my life and I cannot let anything go awry. And then Sherlock's like, yeah, sure, this looks good enough. Let's go.
But definitely it's the noble status too. Got to like put on that facade in front of the nobility because especially with what, him and his brothers are doing.
Yeah.
They got to look good. They got to present themselves very well so no one will suspect them.
Yeah.
Moriarty learned from a very, very young age that even if you say the exact same thing, just the way you look highly affects how much the people will listen or respect you.
Yeah.
Especially since he was born poor, him and his brother.
But their personalities too. They have more similar personalities in some ways and not in others. And I think that's really unique too.
I love that they're both extremely intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a battle of intelligence between them. The dynamic is so interesting in that way, especially when they go back and forth with their bantering.
Yes.
I'm just like, yes, I love that they have equal ground in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Then throughout their whole lives, everyone has trouble keeping up with their minds. And so they have to downplay their skills highly to be on the average level of others. So when they finally meet someone that's
up to
literally
they're
equal and can keep up and push more, of course they're gonna be very attracted to like, oh, hello there.
But there's just one thing though I do like about their appearance though is I love their eyes because for me, honestly, it kind of brings in Hawk and Yona with the blue and the red and how they pop against each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, oh, yes, I love this combination here.
Well, and I think it matches them in their roles in the story too, right? Because the one with the red eyes is the quote unquote evil one, which is Moriarty.
The Lord of Crime.
The Lord of Crime.
Or Robin Hood, as they call him.
Yeah. It's one of those where it's so vividly red in some scenes, and they play with that so well, versus Sherlock's more neutral, dark eyes, which is more of a, listening to reason and not being swayed by the emotions in the same way. I think it's how it portrays just with the eye color in some scenes, and I love it.
But I also do like the yellow and the black next to each other, just their hair colors. I don't know, just like those colors look so elegant to me because it's almost like black and gold.
Yeah.
So the color scheme for this couple is chef's kiss.
Moriarty wears brown a lot, and Sherlock wears the black.
Even when Moriarty changes to black, it works so well.
Oh, yeah.
He looks very stylish in Sherlock's colors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. He looks stylish in any colors, really.
I also love how like upkept William is compared to Sherlock, because like Sherlock is so much more relaxed. Like he like everyone is tired of his nonsense, you know?
Yes.
Like he just kind of does what he wants. Like, oh, I thought there was some loose change under here when he's like investigating that murder case.
It's like, it's just that he finds a very important clue. It's like, oh, I just found some loose change.
Like, oh, and then we all know William would have never done that.
Or like when he's fighting a roommate, he's fighting the most people like him, whether it's financial or the way they act. Or
I just love how eccentric Sherlock is. And everyone is just like so tired of him, but they adore him for it at the same time. Yeah. Meanwhile, Sherlock is very respected for his behavior, like his brothers especially.
Oh,
and his
you
team.
mean William. You said Sherlock there.
Oh no, I moved on to William. I said Sherlock was the one who is, I guess, the rough and tumble.
You just said compared to Sherlock, who is more praised.
My bad.
So that's why I was correcting you.
No, I meant William.
William, like, I feel like you rarely see him flustered. There is a scene or two where he's like, but he's very, even when there comes to an issue, he thinks about it and doesn't get his emotions get in the way.
Mm-hmm. He's unshakable like that, and I really respect him for that. Because, like, even if like something maybe kind of goes adrift than what he was kind of planning, he doesn't like let it shake the ground underneath him.
Yeah, he
rolls
finds
with
a
it.
solution for it.
And
Yeah.
on the ship, he was. So when they first met,
Yeah, let's cover this because this is great.
So he's planned out this huge, great scheme to start off the
grand Moriarty
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
That they
to start
have.
off his grand plan. He starts with the stage to the introduction of it.
Mm-hmm.
And in it, he is doing, and he runs into Sherlock.
Well, he didn't run into
Well,
Sherlock. He was walking toward the
No.
staircase and stepped back to observe it. And Sherlock was talking with three noble women in the background.
Yeah, they were
playing a game of, can you guess this person's job, essentially?
Their
Mhm.
profession.
And he had done 9 so far correctly. And so the women point William out and ask him, what does he do? And so Sherlock's like, And that, of course, draws William's attention, you know?
Yep.
And then he guesses it right.
Yep.
That he is a maths teacher.
He goes into the deep explanation.
His timing, his distance, his angle, taking a step back to observe the details of the staircase to check for the golden ratio.
Yep.
And is just like, was I right?
Moriarty's like, yes, but I'm a teacher. Now let me return the favor. And says, like, does more deeper, like more personal on him, and only gives the more basic explanation.
Yep.
So Sherlock did the basic profession of what he is, but deep explanation, and Moriarty just pulls the opposite on him.
Yeah.
But I love that, like, before William gets into it, he's like, oh, you are a very keen observer. And then does admit that, you know, he teaches math at the university, and all the women are on Twitter like, oh, he got it right. And then he's like, okay, let me do the same to you. And Sherlock's like, huh?
Oh, this is...
But like you said, he does more personal stuff. Like he talks about like how he can play the violin, though he is not a musician. He's adept in fighting, that he has an interest in scientific experiments. And then he steps forward to sniff at like Sherlock and asks, do I detect the faintest hint of a chemical dependency? And Sherlock's like he had to take a moment to compute that this person spilled all this out. And especially like when he also calls out, oh, I think you also have more greater like what? Interest in your mother's side of the family or something along those lines. And then Sherlock is just delighted. He throws his head back and laughs, and he's just like, you are such an intriguing chap. Like he is just like giddy that someone pulled the same on him. And then of course the 3 women come in and go, oh, we should play the game more, and then drag him away.
Ugh.
then like when
The
he
women should get a hit because obviously.
well, they were having fun with Sherlock, being like, so you kind of can't blame him. but then William kind of like calculates Sherlock as he walks away, kind of like, like, is this going to be a hindrance? Like, because I just met someone who's on my level, like the IQ thing. Like, they picked that up on each other very fast.
Oh, yeah.
It's a thing of, okay, gotta keep an eye on him. I don't know if he's gonna be a problem or not, but like, oh, this might be very good or very bad.
But I did really like the setup for their first meeting, like, because it was so like intelligent, like speaks to their intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
And the way they analyze.
They analyze each other.
Like,
Yeah. And honest to goodness, Zephyr's the one that recommended this show for us
it
to
took
watch.
forever to get you guys to watch a podcast to get you to guys watch
I
it.
told you I would watch it. It just, I had other things.
I recommended it like 2 years ago.
I don't think it was that long.
But,
Yes.
I look away. No.
Yes.
but with this, you had sent us The Couple, and I had taken one look at it and didn't look at it again. I was too deeply invested in the Moriarty siblings and their, the first 5 episodes is their entire origin story. And then I was so thrown off guard by Sherlock appearing out of nowhere to just be like, oh, yeah, this dude's a mathematician. I totally forgot what Sherlock looked like and didn't know the fucker was Sherlock until after the murder when he's like, oh, I'm Sherlock. I'm like, oh.
I thought it would be obvious the way Sherlock talks. Do you not know Sherlock Holmes?
Guys, it's been a rough few weeks. Give me a break.
But I was in the same boat because I kind of really was getting invested in the story. So yeah, when Sherlock actually finally appeared, I was like, oh, there you are. Like, I wasn't sure when you were going to show up, but then I had to remind myself, I'm watching this for our Battleships podcast. Need to pay attention to The Couple. But then I was also really invested in the story. So I was like, okay, gotta have a happy medium here.
But even the story alone is really good. I love it.
Well, and I love stories like this. This kind of ties in with a similar story element that is Full Metal Alchemist and stuff like that, where it's not heavily centered on romance. And in fact, this is the first couple we are covering that is not a canon couple.
Actually, I think when I looked online, it is.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
We'll discuss that.
We'll find out later.
No, but it's one of those where this story is not meant to be a romance story. This is meant to be a kind of detective and evil criminal, what shade of the morally gray boundaries that you can push, stuff like that. It's not meant to be super heavy on the fact that, these two are really gay.
And then after their first meeting, Moriarty challenges and tests Sherlock and how far he would go. What is his limit?
Yeah.
Well, before that, though,
yeah.
like before he starts, testing Sherlock, obviously Sherlock finds him after they disembark the ship, after that whole scene played out perfectly to William's scheme.
Yeah.
And he's just like, ooh, like I have to share in this drama with you because it's so interesting because like Sherlock was hunting him down for this purpose because he was like, you're on my level.
Same wavelength as me. You've seen something sketchy about this, right? This is fishy.
I know you're as smart and on my level. He calls Moriarty out and is like, during their conversation, he's like, you know more. You've seen more. I know you know more what's going on than what you're saying and letting on.
Well, and at this point, Sherlock knew there was a mastermind behind that murder. And there was absolutely no one on that ship that could have done it other than Sherlock and Moriarty.
Because he was like, you're as intelligent as I am. So you must have picked up on something during this whole dramatic thing that happened on stage, this dramatic murder. And the fact that he also caught on that the body had been dead for hours. He's like, that guy did not die up on that stage. And William's like, oh, you knew that. And Sherlock was like, all of this is just highly irregular. And so I was like looking into it, see if I could find any clues. But then he at least figured it out that there was a third party involved, that this was all set up for this to happen, for this aristocrat to be set up. And honestly, when he was falling from that thing, I don't know. It was just like, imagine him scooting his butt up that stupid thing. So he just like, what? Then everyone watches him like plunge into the water. I'm just like, that would have been something. I don't know.
Yeah. But Sherlock guessed the Moriarty's whole plan
without knowing it's the Moriarty's.
But like, not, there's still pieces missing. But when he's like talking to the mastermind about his plan, it's like, so what do you know about this? What do you think?
And then William has to feign confusion, like he has no idea. And he's just like, oh, I don't know that much about ballet. And he's like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. And then saying like, this was obviously set up to be the stage for this whole incident. Like someone really had to think this through. And William's just like, because then he's just like, you caught on. You were the only one who caught on. So then he's like, how can I use you?
Yeah.
Because he starts calculating in that way to,
like how can I use you and what danger do you, like, it becomes
pose?
More imminent on like, okay, how good are you? That's where it comes to where he tests Sherlock, why he tested and did that whole crime scene and pushing Sherlock because he wants to find out how much does Sherlock knows.
Because, he does make inquiries into Sherlock like right after he leaves. Because he needs to know if Sherlock's going to be a hindrance or a foe. But then he decides to test him because technically that whole crime scene, they didn't need to write the name Sherlock down.
No, that was
very much be like, can you solve this?
Yep.
And the fact that Hope, the murderer, was just like, okay, went along with it as well. I mean, not that he had anything to lose since he was dying.
Yeah.
And he got his revenge that he highly craved.
But again, they did not need to leave Sherlock's name at the crime scene, but they did. And then, of course, Sherlock's arrested. And they take him there and he's like, oh, there's, change under the desk.
Well, everyone's distracted. I'm just gonna, let's
Wiggle
under
over
here.
They're like, stop acting like that, dragging him up. And he's just like, okay.
Acting all aloof. There's like, stop playing games. You're going back. And Sherlock's like, no, I need to stay out. You need to let me go. He does it in a way of like, let me go. And the guy's like, fine. Because that's the only way we're going to solve this.
But I love that in a way Sherlock did fulfill William's test in all the ways that he was hoping, in a way. Like that he did solve it. He figured it out. And then even when he's given the opportunity to be given the information from Fred, like he's like, shoot Hope and he will tell you. And he's just like, nah, I want to solve this on my own terms, like how I want to do it. I just don't want the information to be given to me. Like, that's no fun.
Yeah. I think he was on the edge, but with having Watson there, that really helped him stay strong to his morals. And that last part is, how strong is his morals? Like, would he do whatever it takes? Like, the end justifies the means. Or is he gonna do the right thing and solve it himself? Like, what is his limits? What will he do?
I have a speculation. What do you think William would have done if Sherlock had killed Hope? I honestly fervently believe that William would have asked him to join the team.
Yeah.
I think so, because honest to goodness, everyone on that team had the same morals as William, obviously, or the same goal, but they had all basically trudged over that line to being criminals. And for Sherlock, that kill would have been that criminal act that would have given William a little bit, I don't want to say this, but a little bit of an edge on Sherlock of being like, hey, you're a criminal now.
Well, Sherlock would have, after finding out the information, they've only ran into each other once.
Yeah,
and they had a really high regards for each other at that point. But he would have found him, and they would have had a conversation. I feel like Moriarty would have been able to convince Sherlock to join their team.
Mm-hmm. But it was interesting, that Sherlock didn't and decided, I want to figure this out myself. I'm not just going to let it be handed to me on a silver platter.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he does kind of have nightmares about it later. Like, oh, what if I had, shot Hope,
Mm-hmm.
Like, not just that, he also goes a little crazier. It really irks or frustrates him, like, the what ifs. What is this damn mystery that I can't solve? He doesn't have enough clues yet to solve it, and it does drive him mad a little.
Yeah, because he wants to know who has been able to create the perfect mysteries so far. He's dying to know who was the one behind it.
And after this, he's been alerted to all the other mysteries and murders that happened.
But then I love that after, he completes William's test, William says he will be taking on the role of solving the crime drama that we will be staging on the streets of London. He will be our leading man who shines a light onto the darkness of the world. So it's like, this will be interesting.
Yeah, well, Moriarty did have a plan where he would be the main villain, and
he needed the protagonist.
He needed a protagonist, but he didn't know who yet. It's just been, all right, I will be the main villain, everyone, but having a protagonist that everyone can stand behind, one man to stand behind, makes it all better, more united.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since Sherlock does think about how, like, after this whole test went down, is like how that the Lord of Crime or whoever wanted to test him into what purpose? Like, again, that mystery. What do they want with me?
Why me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just the man. Well, obviously we know he's more than just a man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, out of everyone in London, all the detectives in London, why me? Because at that time, he had no name. He was not known.
Yeah.
True.
He didn't suspect William until they were on the train.
But, Sherlock is trying to start putting the pieces together by looking into the deaths of other nobles, and is frustrated this one that he looked into wasn't what he thought it was, and so is on the train back to London.
He has a fight
with John.
He's hot and bothered.
Goes to sit in the dining car to eat something, looks up and sees two blonde heads, and he's just like, oh, like his whole demeanor changes, like instant happy puppy, like, oh, I'm gonna switch tables.
That's exactly what I thought of it as.
He runs and just pushes right by Lewis.
Yep, he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see you. I need to talk to you about this, because nobody is on that same wavelength as him. Nobody probably could have understood other than, John a little bit, but
not really
to the same extent that William could.
Like, I think John, he sees it, but like he doesn't understand Sherlock's frustration and struggle in this and he probably didn't truly believe that there was one big mastermind behind all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not the same wavelength. It's not the same level.
Mm-hmm.
But I just love how happy he is to greet William. And William and Luce at first were like, whoa. Suddenly a guy slides into their table and is just like, hi.
Of course, William is... I saw it as he keeps himself composed and is happy to see Sherlock. Like, okay, this is maybe happy that Sherlock doesn't know about the murder, was able to solve the murder they just committed, but...
Well, and it's one of those where he's like, oh, he's excited to see him. He's excited to have more of these thrilling conversations and stuff like that. Whereas, is his name Lucas? So it's Lewis is so not thrilled about this all. Like, get the fuck out of here, Sherlock.
Oh, that side eye he gave to Sherlock when he slid into the seat next to him. He was just like, go away.
Get out of here.
He was spending time with my brother. Fuck off. Why are you still talking to my brother? And then when Sherlock's like, guesses that, hey, you're the Lord of Crime.
Well, he doesn't like accuse him of being the Lord of Crime. He accuses him of like being the mastermind, saying it would be so great if it was him.
Yeah.
Like that, because I don't think the Lord of Crime thing was not as big as it was yet. And of course, William like has to take a moment probably to think like, oh, how do I respond to this? You know? And Lewis is just like, like, oh my God.
He knows. Just panicking as William is just like, huh, that's a good idea. That's an interesting idea. I don't think that's right, though.
And he responds, and then he's like, but if I were this mastermind, I think I would respond, catch me if you can.
Yep.
Catch me if you can, Mr. Holmes.
And Sherlock
just
stays. Oh my gosh. He's like, loves, like, this is a proper challenge.
He gets a thrill out of it. He
is giddy.
He's giddy, yeah.
He's like, okay, this is no longer a mystery of who, because, like, if this was the case, it's no longer a mystery of who, but, like, a challenge on how can I catch this guy? How can I get the evidence? How can I catch you?
You know what? I'm sitting here thinking, I wonder if Sherlock kind of wished it was William that was the mastermind.
Oh.
Just with how excited he got in that moment and being like, oh my gosh, this is a thrill.
Well, he did. Like later on, he admits that I am glad it's you. Man, he hates the fact that it's come down to what it came down to, but he admits that he is glad it is Moriarty because no other will do.
Yeah. Because I just love then is William's just like, oh, would it satisfy you to hear me say that, detective? You know, like playing it off still as a joke. And Sherlock is just like so happy about the challenge he was just given. And he's like, oh, we're going to get along famously.
As Lewis is over there steaming.
Oh, he's steaming,
freaking out. Like,
probably coming down from the heart attack of thinking, oh my God. Like, at first, not sure if it was a joke of Sherlock accusing William of being the mastermind behind the things that he is unraveling so far.
Well, and Lewis was planning to kill him.
Yeah, he was like, right with Sherlock. He's already wary and wanting to kill Sherlock. But after once they see each other on the train, Lewis is like, we have to eliminate this guy ASAP.
Yeah.
Can't do it on the train because obviously they would get caught, like what happened with her.
Well, he more says, like, if Sherlock becomes a threat, like, yes, he will dispatch him. Like, he's not going to let him ruin their grand plans. But then, of course, a murder actually does occur on the train. And poor John is accused of being the murderer. And then Sherlock and William decide to turn it into a game of, like, who's going to catch the culprit first. And this is the first time Sherlock actually calls William Liam. Like, his little nickname he comes up. And Lewis is like, Liam! He's like, that's a little too chummy. He does not like it.
Oh, and then when they go into there, they're both just looking. They can guess what happened. And they're like telling the other police guy what's going on. And he's like flabbergasted, like, how do you know this? And it's like, why this? And then William's like, obviously.
The fact that they're both on the same track, though, that they both notice the same things when they're examining the crime scene.
Well, and they're discussing it together, too. They're having this friendly competition of who can solve it first, but they're both in there at the same time, and they're both talking kind of to each other about what they see. I think that's so interesting because, you know, this is a competition. but they're still willing to share information.
Sherlock is the one that when he finds details or sees it, he blurts it out, wants to talk about it. William never really isn't that outspoken, but he's like Sherlock, that when he's with Sherlock, he wants to talk about it. The intelligence on what they see and observe and actually be understood on that.
Yep.
But then I love that William actually kind of doesn't intend to solve it himself, but instead tries to help Sherlock with it. Because, like, figuring out it was one of the crew members that committed the murder. And then he cuts his finger, and then he goes around, like, and finds ways to touch the crew members. So, like, when they are all confronted of being like, oh, show me, your hands and everything. And the guy's like, oh, I cut my hands earlier. He's like, but then why do you have a little blood there? Like pointing it out for Sherlock and him being like, aha. But the fact he pretty much just hands it over to Sherlock, like, nope. Like
he knows. It's one of those that he even talked about, is that he knows Sherlock would have been able to figure it out, but by the time that Sherlock would have been able to, it would have been too late, or they would have had a lot more trouble with his friend John, and it would have caused a lot more unnecessary trouble. So him handing it out to him isn't him like giving the answer for free. It's more of, let's make it easier because I know you can solve this, but
just need a little bit of a nudge in the right direction.
Yeah.
Especially since they were trying to solve the case before they reached the next stop, because they were worried that the murderer would scramble off the train at that stop. So they had to solve it before they got there. So he just gave Sherlock a helping hand. And then, of course, as he's walking away with his brother, he does tell him, like, he thinks Sherlock is too trusting and all that stuff, but he thinks it's a good thing. In that he did want to help Sherlock's partner, John, to get out of that situation because he was wrongfully accused. And he's like, I don't want to see an innocent man go down for a crime he didn't commit.
And Lace, you've got to remember is that Moriarty is a good guy.
He is.
And he's more of that anti-hero, the
Robin Hood.
And John and Sherlock are middle class, so they are part of the class that he's fighting for.
Yeah, precisely. And he's also the detective that is supposed to be solving, his crime scene. So he's like, I also need you around, but I'm also going to help you when you need it.
Did anyone notice Sherlock wink at William when they solved the mystery too? I was like, a little bit of a flirt there.
The way he talks to Sherlock, though, it can be taken as flirty.
Oh, yeah.
But there's this, like, little scene I caught a little, like, it's not that big of a moment, but, like, when Irene, ends up at Sherlock's home after they burned down her safe house. And she hugs him when the landlady comes in. But he doesn't know are the Moriarty brothers are across the street watching this from the window. And I can't say William looks very happy. He looks jealous. Like, you're touching.
You're touching what's mine.
Because, his eyes are glowing kind of menacingly and just like, oh.
When they glow, the emotions are sums up.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's Bond, right?
Yeah, I'm just calling
James Bond
by the name right now.
Because at this point in the story, at that point, William didn't know whose side Miss Adler was on. No, he didn't know if they were hiding anything and what was actually going on. So it was an unknown variable in William's plan, and it was messing with the most important variable in his plan. So
his protagonist.
And I think it's so interesting, but no, I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that look. I'm going to have to.
I'm just going to say he did not look happy that she was there and she hugged him and was trying to, borrow clothes from the landlady because her stuff was, smoky or something. And he's just like watching with a. And I guess here I wanted to talk about the OVA because it looked like it was supposed to be at the end of season 1, like the first episode.
Yeah.
Because it had, the same
Yeah,
intro.
the first, the OVAs.
Yeah. So I just wanted to talk about that here, about when, Lewis and Liam are in the city of Bath, because of the defaced painting. And they're in the hot springs and relaxing. And suddenly they hear someone calling out to William, and they look up, and there Sherlock is with John waving to them so happily. And Lewis's face immediately goes, no. God, please, no. And then, of course, they end up getting tea together and having a little conversation about, like, why are you here? Oh, I'm sightseeing. In reality, they're there for the exact same reason.
It's like, oh, I'm just sightseeing, but I'm going to join along and tag along to this guy's house. And
he's like, yeah, can I come with you? When they admit, that they're there because of the defaced painting, that they're there to solve the mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, and we have a meeting with the artist. Like, can I come?
I'll just come and join along and see.
But what I love about that scene of, like, after, they check out the scene and everything, when they're leaving, that Sherlock goes, why did you shake his hand? Were you trying to, like, feel for something? And he's like, oh, you're one to talk. You took something out of the sketchbook. Like, the fact that they caught on to those things that they were doing.
That means they were watching each other
Sherlock
very
was
closely.
definitely watching, and you held his hand for a very long time.
I don't know if it was just me, but I swear to God, when they first went into that fake artist's house and William steps forward to shake his hand, I don't know, I feel like Sherlock's eyes dropped to his backside. Yeah, I swear to God, he was like looking like,
Not just that, but like Sherlock knows how good Moriarty is, so I think Moriarty definitely made Sherlock a little jealous for holding it way longer than necessary, because Moriarty, just one quick handshake could have been able to tell that he was not the artist.
But what I love is after they solve the case, they all go to the hot springs, and Sherlock and William are sitting side by side having a conversation, and Lewis is off to the side next to John looking like scowly face, like, it should be me.
Can these pieces of shit go away?
Well, it's that jealousy that siblings have when their older sibling starts dating someone.
Yeah. Well, it's always just been the three brothers, especially William and Lewis. It's been mostly those two together. And now there's this third wheel coming in and barging.
Well, and we get into it a little bit later, but William was Lewis's reason for living.
Yeah.
So seeing his, very special person who has given him whole entire meaning to his life, no wonder why he was kind of jealous of Sherlock being all chummy with him. Like, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I can see why Lewis was just like, back off.
No touchy. Do not touch my brother.
But yeah, that, and also like being maybe a minor threat to their grand schemes, because Sherlock is smart, and he was worried, he'd figure them out before their plan had been completely
I think
executed.
he was more worried about what would happen to his brother if Sherlock figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's going along with this big grand scheme because that's what his brother wants to complete or do. But if it was between letting go of the scheme or his brother's safety, obviously he would choose his brother's safety over the scheme.
Yeah.
Then you also got to think about, but Lewis and Albert are also part of being the Lord of Crime.
Yeah.
It's the three brothers.
They are.
So it's not just William.
Yeah.
I think it's so sweet and sad at the same time, just seeing how much they care about him, too.
Mm.
And the fact that he wears himself so thin, especially nearing the end of the first season, with all the things that are going on, and then eventually that final decision, too.
Man, we find out after Eileen becomes James Bond, we find out that he works himself in a way where he just faints.
Mm-hmm.
Where he goes down and Lewis has a blanket ready.
Like, it shows that William doesn't get proper sleep and he works or runs his mind until he passes out. For Lewis to be so ready for it means it happens constantly.
Yeah.
Now I guess it's time for Sherlock to take on that role.
Yes.
Oh, there he goes. Catch.
Oh, imagine Sherlock catching and just, what's that called? Cradling
The
William?
bridal
carry?
It's
the
Bridal carry William to a couch.
I could see it.
Yep.
It's like, not again.
Not this idiot doing something again.
Oh, Liam, you need to get more rest or sleep.
But at least then for me after that, like, whole shindig, like, there wasn't a lot of interaction between William and Sherlock up until the confrontation at Milverton's house.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I honestly kind of forgot that I was watching it for the ship up until that moment. And then I was like, oh shit, this is about to go down big time, because that's when Sherlock finds out that William Moriarty is Lord of Crime.
Well, I gotta say, what did they call him? Evil incarnate at the house.
Milverton.
He was the one they called him evil incarnate and called him King of Blackmail.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he's high intelligence. There's no doubting that. But I also feel like he's a step down or two from Moriarty and
I mean, yeah,
Sherlock.
because he dies.
Well,
He was planning. Okay, so let's flesh out this scene, because obviously Sherlock goes in trying to find him. And of course, the Lord of Crime, William, is already there pointing his gun at
Milverton. Yeah.
Sherlock. And then it's with a flash of lightning that he sees William.
And his face drops for a minute, because then he is in shock seeing William being there as well. And then he's just like, oh.
Yeah, William's
it sinks in.
Keeping his composure, complete poker face. But I wonder, what is going on in William's mind?
Personally, I thought his expression looked unhappy. Like, he was not happy that Sherlock was there.
No.
He looked resigned. Because he was not thrilled with Sherlock being there, I don't think.
But he did keep he was not thrilled, but he did keep a decent poker face throughout that whole scene.
He just
Until
kept
near
his
the
face
end.
dead. Yeah, he just kept it dead, lacking emotion, which is very different than the last few times that they had seen each other. Because, he would do that soft smile and be like, oh, hi, Sherlock, it's good to see you,
Because their past interactions also had been more warm, Sherlock had always greeted him warmly. They had had good conversations, gone on little crime sprees, to figure them out.
Now he's unsure, what will Sherlock do now that he knows?
And the fact that they turned their guns on each other, too.
Well,
their
they
guns
weren't
are
turned on each other. They were turned on the guy, but he stepped away, so technically they were still turned to each other.
But I'm sure their minds were racing as they were looking at each other, because they let him step out of the line of fire. Like, they didn't really make any attempt to, follow him with their guns. Like, they were just staring at each other, like, probably just thinking, oh, he knows.
I think they were also trying to gauge of what would they do.
But then the fact that Milverton was just like, ho, my drama is going to play out exactly as I want. That Sherlock the detective will arrest William, the Lord of Crime. He's like, oh, and if you do as I want, there will be benefits for you.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, the symbols of London's light and darkness are both present and accounted for. And he's so proud of himself for laying out this trap to lure in Sherlock and William to his home.
Mm-hmm.
And Sherlock is just like, are you done? When he stops going on. And Sherlock turns his gun on him instead.
Yep.
He trusts William, William's still pointing his gun at him.
Yeah.
But he still
Trust
turns
him.
away and aims the gun at Milverton.
Mhm.
He moves his gun and turns and it's like, how is it, Liam? Like calling him by his nickname and being more lighthearted again. And after Sherlock's done talking, William finally figured out what Sherlock is going to do. He turns his gun on the guy. Is like, well, I don't care. Whatever you do, I don't care if you leak my name out. So,
Yeah.
But I love the fact that Sherlock was just like, I'm so happy it is you. You know? It's like, to be honest, I can bear it if it wasn't you. I wanted it to be you, and there's no one else it could have been, which is why I truly am pleased you are the one here right now. And then the fact Milverton begins to panic, like, wait, these two have been in contact? They know each other? He has a nickname? Like, you know, obviously, because
how? When?
Because Sherlock is calling William by his nickname despite the situation that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sherlock trusts William, not only with just still even with him pointing his gun at him still, he tells him why he's there. He's like, Liam, I want to rescue my partner who is about to be married. I am fine with whatever happens to me in this process. How about you? Do you care if he reveals your name to the world? And it made me so happy to see William then turn his gun too on Milverton. I was just like, yes, a united front. And Milverton is freaked out. He's just like, they both made this decision to turn the gun on me? On me? Oh, he is so upset because he was laughing at first, like, I am untouchable. Ha 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 ha. Wait.
And then panic sets in and realizes that, wait, no matter what I do, I'm going to lose.
Like,
yep.
And
I'm in danger.
So he decides, I don't want to go to jail. Instead, I'm going to jump off.
Yeah.
But then the fact as he's running, Sherlock shoots him in the back. That Sherlock kills him.
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting that.
No.
Because when I saw like the bullet holes in his back, like there were a couple. So I was thinking William had opened fire too. But it was just Sherlock.
And then William turning it towards Sherlock again at the end of it.
Well, he just watched him shoot a guy, and he's probably maybe thinking, I'm next. Because he doesn't know what Sherlock's going to do, because he hadn't accounted for this. He had not thought that Sherlock would kill Milverton.
It's not just that. He's also turned the gun on Sherlock. Not just because of that. It's like his work is not done. If Sherlock's not going to kill him, if Sherlock's going to kill him, or B, he cannot be arrested yet. He still has work to do.
I don't think it was that. I think it's a fact that he had some inkling of a thought that Sherlock would not be able to play the role anymore. It was probably a combination of multiple different things, but I definitely think there was a good part of him that's like, he just did the thing that I literally tested to see if he would do. He did not kill Hope, but he killed Milverton.
Well, at this point, Sherlock's been the pawn. Yeah. Moriarty's been using him, but I don't think Moriarty saw him as a pawn. But Sherlock felt like he was a pawn off of his games, and now Milverton's game. He was completely sick of it and was like, no, it's my choice. I do what I want. You're not going to predict what I'm going to do anymore.
Because, I mean, he did say exactly, not everything is going to go according to your whim. I won't let it. The game is afoot now, Liam. I swear I will unravel everything about you and catch you in a manner of my own choosing. But a little before that, though, the fact that even when William does turn the gun back on Sherlock doesn't aim his gun back at him. He just, walks to the desk and lights a cigarette and puts the gun down. And he says, even now, after all this, I can't prove for certain you're the Lord of Crime. You set me up to be the hero who exposes the misdeeds of the nobility. I was always a step behind you, and you had me dancing in the palm of your hand. So,
and then after they leave, Moriarty, he is devastated about what Sherlock did. Not just because it ruins his plan, like that's a small part, but like, he wanted Sherlock to kill him. Yeah. He wanted to be Sherlock's first kill, because now he's like, will he even hesitate to kill me?
Well, and I think there's another aspect of it is he's racked with guilt from all the killing that he's had to do over these years. And he knows how much it weighs heavy on a person. I think a part of it is he doesn't want Sherlock to feel the same pain that he feels.
Yeah, because I mean, he is confiding in his brother, and he says, despite being rid of Milverton, I allowed Holmes to become a killer in the process. He killed Milverton for his own reasons. You know, Lewis, I never meant to let him become a murderer as soon as this.
Mm-hmm. Which implies that he did want to be Sherlock's first kill.
I don't know if he wanted Sherlock himself to kill him, but I don't think he wanted him to kill in this whole situation. He wanted to help keep his hands clean. I think
it was more of, if Sherlock's gonna kill, it's better, like, I guess I should say he doesn't want Sherlock to kill, but if Sherlock is gonna kill, he'd rather it be him.
Yeah.
I can see that. But can we talk about the fact, like, right before William leaves the scene, Sherlock again says, I'm going to catch you in a manner of my own choosing. And William lets out a little laugh, and he kind of starts smiling again and replies, my response to that challenge is the same as before. Catch me if you can, Mr. Holmes.
It helps kind of patch some of the tension that was between them. Because there was a lot of tension in that scene.
Oh, yeah.
So
I think it's so sweet. I think it's sweet.
With how the relationship was before, and then this little interrogation shit goes down.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they're faced with the reality, and both of them are kind of like, oh, we're both in this situation. But then the next episode, Sherlock's brother appears to interrogate his brother about, killing Milverton. And Sherlock admits one of the reasons why he killed Milverton is, I knew that if I killed him, I wouldn't be able to pursue the Lord of Crime.
If he killed him, he knew he wouldn't be able?
Yeah, in the sub, he says, I knew that if I killed Milverton, I wouldn't be able to pursue the Lord of Crime.
Which means...
when he was faced with William being the Lord of Crime, he didn't want to pursue him. He didn't want to catch him in that moment.
What? Oh. I'm sorry. Why did I miss that? I'm dumbstruck.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he explained it like that in the dubbed.
In the sub, that's what he says exactly.
Damn. Oh my gosh, that brings like a whole nother level for Sherlock's feeling.
Honestly, guys, the last few episodes were kind of a blur, and I remember only a couple things that I'm very passionate about, and that's not one of them, and now I'm mad that I missed it.
But with no body, no evidence, and Sherlock is let go.
But Dan, the fact that he managed to do that, cover his own crime, by just nonchalantly lighting a little, match, and then throwing it on the curtain, and like the fact that covered up his crime. There's no evidence. Go free. What? Well, that ruined his plan. But then he actually sits down and goes over everything, to figure out William's plan. And he figures it out, like putting all the little lines together. And he's like, there's a red string connecting all of this. What is it? And he figures it out.
Mm-hmm. He finally has all the pieces he needs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the fact that now William is out on a murder spree because he claims that he is the Lord of Crime, and then he goes out and starts killing nobility.
Yeah.
And Lewis and Fred do not want him to die. Because like Fred helps him at one of these noble houses, and he's like, this is not what I want. And then William tells him, I want to die. And Fred's horrified, And then he tells Lewis, William is so loved by the people around him that they know that this is his plan, that to kill the Lord of Crime by dying. But they're like, no, we want you here. So even if it means going against him to save him, then the fact, they send a telegram to Sherlock's home for him to meet up with them. And so he does. The fact he does go.
Yeah.
Shows up to the carriage and walks in and is just like, oh, you're the Lewis, but you're the old lady.
I think such a impactful moment of this scene is the fact that Lewis asks Holmes for help.
He hates Holmes.
Yeah, he hates Sherlock. And so for him to be like, please save my brother. I think it's so cute also that they all know the only person that's convincing William to stay alive is Sherlock Holmes.
Like, as for Moriarty, his killing spree is, I'm pretty sure there is still some more nobles on his list that he wants dead and not want in. He does not want these nobles in the new world. And it's a way to make him more known and get the nobles hating him. So he kills a bunch, goes on a killing spree, and then he sets fires to enrage the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that Sherlock knows exactly why they called him there. Like, the only reason you called me out here is like, you want me to save Liam's life, right?
Like, going back, yeah.
And they're both like, whoa. The fact you figured them out. And I can't imagine the relief they felt, you know, knowing that he's on the same page. Because of him explaining it, like, knowing what William's plan was, yeah, the Lord of Crime needs to die.
Yeah.
But he's not going to pretend to die. He is going to actually die. That's why you are reaching out to me. And the fact that he vows to Fred and Lewis, like, I intend to save Liam as his friend. Like, he kind of trails off at that point. And I'm like, I thought that was amusing. And then Lewis is like, please save my brother as he's getting out of the carriage. And he's like, leave him to me. And I'm like, yes, do what you need to do.
But, oh my gosh. Did you guys watch the ending scene?
Yeah.
After that episode, did you watch the ending scene?
I didn't realize there was one.
So there's only a couple episodes that have the ending scene, but William shows up in Sherlock's home. He shows up in his room and is like,
didn't he say, like, I want you to be the one to end my life or something like that?
Yeah, I want you will be the one to stop me. Pretty much he's saying his official, as a friend, goodbye. Because next time they meet, you will need to be the one to stop me.
And I didn't get that.
As in, you need to be the one to kill me. And he leaves him a letter.
Yeah, because at least that's in the beginning of the next episode.
The beginning of the next episode, he went to that warehouse or that abandoned building, found all the plans for everything, all the notes, and talked to Jack and got his final letter, his official letter that he was probably supposed to read after he was dead, not before.
But at least in the beginning of that episode, like, it made me really sad when William did ask him, like, can I ask you to take this tale, the tale of Sherlock Holmes' nemesis, the Lord of Crime, James Moriarty, and bring it to a close? I was just like, no, no. But then the fact before William leaves, though, that Sherlock asks him, why me? Like, there are so many people. Why me?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, William trails off but he doesn't answer. And then he just says time's up when the clock rings and leaves. But then the fact he probably was thinking about his answer, that he would then, leave in the letter that he left behind for Sherlock.
Yeah.
Because it killed me, like, when the letter was like, when I came to call on you, you probably posed the following question. Why did I choose you? It would be difficult to detail the reasons in a few brief words, but I found our meeting to be enjoyable enough to forget all about my horrible plan for a moment. Mm-hmm. It felt as though I had found the one person who could understand me. If it weren't for our respective positions, I would have liked to converse with you at great length. For some reason, I have considered you to be a long-standing friend. That is why I want you at my side when I meet my end. That is the reason why, for me, it must be you. If only we could be reborn into a different world, then this next time I would hope to be true friends with you. That letter filled me with so much emotion. And then the fact that Sherlock responds like, likewise, I felt the same way all this time, you bloody fool.
I cried the first time I watched this anime.
Just the fact that William spills out his heart essentially into this letter, thinking this is going to be the last time they interact as friends. Because the next time they're going to be enemies fighting on the bridge.
And that's what happens. They see each other on the bridge, but Sherlock has already made up his mind about what's gonna happen.
He's not
so it
gonna let
becomes
William
a
have his way.
battle of wills.
Yep.
But sadly for William, or happily, William's will is just about dried up because of all the guilt and everything that's happened. He's accepted and ready to die, so he doesn't have much fight left in him to fight the will of Sherlock.
Well, and as Sherlock is trying to convince William to stay alive, to accept all of the thorny feelings of being a murderer, there is a little bit of hesitation on William's side. And in the anime, this isn't in the manga, by the way, this is just in the anime, but he turns his hand and sees his hands covered in blood. And that is when he realized that he couldn't live with that.
It's too much. His hand is dripping with blood.
Yeah. And that's when he decides no. Like, I'm going to do it anyway.
And then he attacks Sherlock with his sword, like force him to fight him.
I think that was before this whole thing. But yeah, they had a nice fight up there.
A good old...
Well, I'm saying like they had this whole conversation and then, then he saw his hands dripping with blood and was like, no. And then he attacked Sherlock to force him to fight. But the fact that Sherlock could keep up with him, though, because we all know how great of a fighter William is.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine how honestly great that little fight was on the bridge.
At this point, we haven't seen Sherlock's physical ability, not truly. Well, we've seen him fight or do some attacks, but like to go all out is different.
And I am willing to bet $1 million that William was not going full out on Sherlock. There's no way he would.
He does not want to kill Sherlock.
Exactly.
He wants to put up a show because there are hundreds of people watching on the bridge. They're logically thinking, how could the people see what's happening up there? That's so far away and they're too damn small. But for anime's sake...
There's a lot with this episode that logic completely defies.
For fantasy and anime's sake, people are watching. This is a showdown. This is the proof that's needed to show that, hey, you guys, your hero is fighting and going to take down the villain and win and open up a new world.
Yeah.
A better world without the Lord of Crime.
Yeah.
And then the fact like Lewis is watching this too and saying that he is there to watch the conclusion between these two, knowing that Sherlock is the last person who can convince William not to die.
And I wanted to go back to this because I had mentioned it earlier. To Lewis, William was his reason for living, right?
Yeah.
And he, as he says that, is like, I really hope that Sherlock is that for my brother. And I just am there like, oh my gosh, he ships them in a way, and I'm
trying to be supportive.
It's one of those where he hates Sherlock, but he knows the relationship between them is what's important for his brother to continue.
Mm-hmm.
So he's starting to ship them, but he hates it. So I guess this very well plays along with our roll for anime question for Lewis.
No, for real though. Oh, I get so jittery with this entire end scene, especially when William steps off the bridge.
Oh, I was like, no, when I saw him take that step. And then he just falls back just so calmly, like his arms outstretched, just ready for it, being like, I am ready to die, you know?
And like when Sherlock catches him.
I loved how fast he was on that. Like, he lunged to catch him. And when Liam's dangling there and is like, why are you going so far to try to save me? Like, he doesn't understand, I think.
Do you guys notice when the ocean turns to lava
Oh, yes.
That's, I am certain, representing his feeling like, okay, it's time to go to hell.
Yeah.
I agree.
That is him, like, it's time for hell. There's no saving me.
William asks him, like, why do you bother? You know what my plan is. You know what my goals are. We have the same damn goal. Why? Why do you bother to save me? Especially since in the manga, I don't think they portrayed this enough in the anime, but in the manga, that bridge was crumbling.
Oh, that was not happening.
Yeah, in the manga, because I read I read from this point onward a little bit in the manga because I wanted to know what the fuck happened after.
I don't blame you. I want to read.
The bridge was starting to collapse a little. And William was like, you need to let me go, otherwise you're gonna die too. And Sherlock was just like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. You can drop that sword and you can use the other hand to pull yourself up. I'm not letting you go. And that is when William slices him with the sword.
But the fact that Sherlock does say, like, because you are my dear friend, like, I am not going to let you just jump to your death. You know, like, because he's like, living may hold nothing but bitterness for you, but the world you are changing is going to be a world worth living in. So live, Liam. And then William, like, replies, looking at Sherlock, like, you came here not as a detective, but as a friend, didn't you? You've bested me, Shirley. And this is the first time he calls him
Shirley. Yes.
I expected you to come. I planned and expected you as a detective
to take me down, but you came as a friend. You Shirley.
like Shirley.
And yeah, he slices
for Sherlock to let him go.
And Sherlock jumps after him.
And the fact he yells, I am not about to let you be the only one who dies. And he dives for him. No hesitation. And William's face is like, what?
Like falling, he's seen as falling into lava. He's going to hell. And when Sherlock comes diving after him, it changes to water. Like, Sherlock is the saving grace. Like, he's not going to let him fall to hell.
But the fact is, he saw Sherlock diving for him. There was a light in his eyes.
Yeah.
Sherlock was reaching for him, regardless of all of that he had done. And then Sherlock catches him in a hug. And the fact he cradles Liam's head in this tight hug. And he tells him, Liam, let's live. We both have to live. And that Liam closes his eyes, like, almost in peace as they fall together. I can't get over that.
I feel like it's not the same way, because at first when he first fell and closing in, is peace as in he accepted his fate, where this type of peace is true peace. Like, I am not, like, if we do survive this, I am not alone. And he knows he was not alone because he had his whole team and family. But with Sherlock, it's different.
I can't get over that scene.
It gave me chills, and I immediately ended that scene, and I had the OVAs after to watch. But I was like, I want to go rewatch that episode almost immediately after, because that last scene was just so damn powerful.
I would love a second season.
Yeah. When I was looking at the amount of chapters that was left in Moriarty the Patriot, I don't think they could have done a full season. And that's part of the reason I don't think they would. I think they could probably get another 6 to 7 episodes, but not a full season. And
maybe if they made a movie.
Yeah, I think a movie would be pretty interesting. But I haven't gotten too far beyond this point. But there is a lot of really cute scenes in the manga as well. Is there any other scenes we want to mention from the anime before we move on?
Yeah, just the final scene is like when they're in Switzerland and Sherlock walks into that bar with the book that his friend wrote about him solving these crimes. And he sits down and the barkeeper kind of asks him what he's want. Like, is he there chasing a woman? Like, why are you so far out in the countryside? He's like, no, I'm looking for a friend. And he's like, one that would look up at a spiral staircase and check for the golden ratio. That sort of friend. And then he throws a look to the person to his side. And it's William.
Yeah.
And William smiles from the seat beside him.
But
at the
Sherlock
bar.
asks, do you happen to know of such a man? As he looks over and there's William. He's just sitting there like...
I loved it. And then at the end, the very end, catch me if you can, Mr. Holmes. Just like,
Oh my gosh.
I love that scene, but I think I like how it plays out in the manga a little bit better.
oh, I'm sure. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying it was just a relief to see that they both survived the fall.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they were living elsewhere safely. I would have flipped a table if they had not told me that they had made it. Because if they had just ended it with like everyone else going on and living their lives after 3 months, I'd been like, son of a bitch.
I would have been satisfied, but I probably still would have been mad as a fan. Because as an author, I'm like, yes, kill him, because that's such an interesting way to end it. But as a fan, I'm like, yes,
That would have been an interesting choice if she had killed Sherlock and Moriarty.
killed
the both. Well, that would have been
Like, it would change the common trope of they all live. But, I would be so
Well, and
pissed.
in the manga, Sherlock and what's his
William.
friend's name? No, what's his friend's name?
who?
John.
John.
Yeah. I forgot his name for a minute.
John.
But Sherlock and John were talking about the book that John had written. And John even mentioned that people were pissed wanting to bring Sherlock back. And this is one of the first conversations they have, because Sherlock, of course, was missing for 3 years after all of this. And same with William. William was also gone. They had no idea where they were, except for Sherlock sending, I think, one telegram to John saying that I am alive.
But one manga spoiler, I did find out that I'm a little sad they didn't animate that apparently, like earlier on, Sherlock attended one of William's math lectures at the university.
What?
I need to read this manga.
I am reading this shit. You can bet.
skipped ahead.
I did skip ahead. I didn't know there was a scene in the middle I missed.
Honestly, whenever I reread read a manga that I've already seen the anime, even though I'm rereading stuff that I know so well, there's always a scene or two that's not in the anime.
But I love the fact that he attended one of his math lectures.
I want to know what happens. I want to know.
Like, did they talk after? Like, what?
I don't know. That's all I saw was that he was
Obviously,
attending.
Shirley would have a pro.
Ah, man.
But then later on, like, I'm not really sure the context of some of these scenes that I saw, but I just, at least in the scene that I wanted to, like, 2 scenes I wanted to talk about was, it looks like William's injured and, like, recovering. Like, he's on the roof or something.
Oh, I know the scene.
Yeah, at least you know what I'm talking about. But, Sherlock is thanking William, and William replies, like, I should be the one thanking you, Shirley. It's as you said, death is no atonement. I just wanted to avert my eyes from my sins. It's because of you that now I can truly feel that way from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah. So I'll give some context to this, because
Please.
this scene, yes. So after the two fell off the bridge, they obviously disappeared. Guess what? They were hella injured. For some silly reason, jumping off a bridge is not a good idea, guys.
Jumping
From
off
that
a
height?
bridge.
Yeah,
It's kind of a miracle
height
they
in the
lived.
middle of the ocean. Well, not the middle, but still.
But Sherlock wakes up first, and he is on a boat. And immediately, as soon as he wakes up and is fully cohesive, his first thing he does is he jumps up and is like, Liam, super concerned, because obviously the last thing he remembered was the two of them plunging into the water.
Mm.
And Liam is in a bed next to him, and Liam is in bad shape. He is missing an eye. He has bandages all over him, and he is in a coma. And that is when they meet the savior, which I don't remember his name. But he is traveling to America and decides to bring the two along with him. And so they go to America, And Sherlock slowly kind of gets reintegrated into society, trying to, I can't remember what job he had, but he had a job. And there are a couple panels in the manga where you see Sherlock sitting by William's bedside, waiting for him to wake up. And he does finally wake up, and that's when we get the scene up on the roof, because Sherlock comes home, William is gone, he's panicking the fuck out because he's gone, and he searches the roof and finds William just sitting on a bench with, you know, the cloths that are drying on the roof, and that's when he comes up and sits next to him, and they have the discussion. I had little tears in my eyes when I saw Sherlock sitting by William's bedside, because he so was hoping that William would stay alive, because when he had inquired that very first time, is he okay? The doctor said it's honestly based on his will to live. And that's where I think Sherlock's thank you comes from, because he's like, thank you for having a will to live.
No. Thank you for staying with me.
Yeah, thank you for staying with me. Guys, I love it.
And then I saw something, I saw a TikTok last night that talked about like how Sherlock is the I'll protect you type. Mm-hmm. And then William is the you touch him, you die. And then someone commented that there's actually a scene in the manga this happens, that Sherlock is in danger from enemies, and William comes riding in on a horse and kills them. So Sherlock is, I'm the protect you, and William is like, you touch him, you die.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's...
I haven't gone to that scene, but holy hell, I'm going to keep reading because I want to see it.
That William kills to protect Sherlock?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I need to know this scene myself.
Yes.
Then the one final thing that I saw that I have to talk about, that William and Sherlock are having conversations somewhere, and this is obviously after William has made more of a recovery. Mm-hmm. And he tells Sherlock, I want you to keep the fire in my heart ablaze. Just as a lighthouse guides ships across the waves, I need you to set me straight should I stray off.
Okay,
and you're telling me
broken up across, the conversation, like these different things. But those lines popped out at me, and I was just like, oh my God.
And you're telling me this is not a confirmed canon?
But that's from the manga.
And then one more part to this. I'm pretty sure this is all in the same conversation. William tells Sherlock, I want us to live together, share our worries together, if you'll have me.
Yeah, that's a marriage proposal.
Sherlock replies, Liam, I want you to live with me too. Yeah. And then someone appears. I don't know who this new character is. I didn't recognize them, but they like call out to them like, done with the wedding vows yet? Yes!
But to hell with what I said earlier. I apologize.
But
you better.
That is pretty much a marriage proposal. Like, if you'll have me. And Sherlock's like, yes.
Obviously.
Oh my gosh.
That you'll live with me. And they've already been living together, like you said, when they went to America for 3 years.
Yeah, it was 3 years.
So to continue to live together?
What is it? Give me more.
More.
Where I'm at in the story, they just came back to London, and they had, did the whole like, oh, it's so good to see you alive and everything, and all the happy reunions. And then they were planning basically a family dinner with both Sherlock and his like friends and family and everything, and the Moriartys and their fans and family. They were gonna have a little lunch together, and the fact that they were just studying all the people from the Moriartys that would be there, and John was just looking at the list like, this is going to be impossible to remember all these people. So no, You can bet I'm going to keep reading this. And when we come back to it in the captain's log or the captain's final report, I'm going to have more shit to say about it.
Oh, we will. Because I know
like,
all of us are going to fucking read this manga after all this. We're going to be like, guys, get on it. Considering how good this anime is, I need more. Especially apparently now there's wedding vows.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm running.
Oh yeah.
Please, 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 please eventually be canon. Be canon.
Okay.
If not, I will tell you guys that I am going to go commit arson.
Flip a table.
Yeah, we'll just
Jump
go
off a
setting.
bridge.
We will start setting fires across the city and jump off a broken bridge.
Now it has to be the bridge.
Yep, just the bridge.
Alrighty, fellow shippers, tropes. Okay, my first one. Shipping Torpedo. This character is strongly opposed to a couple being together. We all know who that is.
Our sweet, sweet Lewis. He's just jealous of his brother having someone.
He hates it, but he sees the need for it. But if he could have his way, it would never happen.
The fact I saw an artwork with John and Sherlock and William and Lewis and everybody else, but William and Sherlock are standing very close, and Lewis is like to the side holding a knife, and John is holding him back.
That is perfect.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
I'll have to send it to you guys because I found it really funny.
Yes, you need to. Friendship on the set. Actors become good friends while working on a production together. So this is typically referring to actors in a movie or something, but I think this works really well with two detectives discovering a mystery.
Yep. It fits very, very well.
Yeah.
So I think it's so cute because to me, a relationship is really strong when it's built on friendship first.
Yeah.
True.
Mm-hmm.
So, rivalry as courtship. A romance that stems from two characters' rivalry.
Wait,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Catch me if you can.
It's so cute. I love enemies to lovers.
Oh,
I
and
love
those
it so
looks
much.
they exchange, just like, hey, gonna catch me?
Star-crossed lovers. Lovers who can't be together due to circumstances. No. Now, this hurts because for the longest time, for most of the anime, they cannot be together because where they stand and their roles in the show, in the society. But after, there's no need for that. Once the play is run, they can be together.
They can be together. It always makes me so angry when that happens in a story. Like, just let them be together, damn it.
Yep.
And that's why you love this so much. Too much angst.
I love this couple. I love this story too. Historical relationship overhaul. The love or relationship of two historical characters is portrayed differently than how it was in real life. Now, let me kind of addendum to this. It's not a real story, right? Sherlock Holmes and William Moriarty. It's a story that was written, but it's not a historical thing.
Yeah.
But this still works in the fact that they're very well known. In fact, when I was talking to my mom about watching this, she's like, oh, I love Sherlock Holmes. Maybe I'll watch it. Because when you hear Moriarty, you think of the villain to Sherlock. This story is so different. And they portray it in the story itself with John writing the story of Sherlock Holmes and everybody, portraying William as this big evil guy.
Man, John does say, with Sherlock around, there's no lack of writing material.
That is so true.
Sherlock is just too good in that way for John. Like, oh. All right. Outlaw couple. Lovers who commit crimes together, at least in the case of Milverton. Killing him and then keeping the silence. Yeah.
I definitely see that. And it's so funny because it's such a turn from the fact of Sherlock being the one to try to figure out what William is doing. And then suddenly Sherlock's like, oh, I killed a man now. Now I'm on the same side as you.
Not just that, it's like, I killed a man and I let the biggest lord of crime go.
Yeah.
The big bad go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is your vote on today's couple? Do we ship it or sink it?
Man.
If anybody here, if anybody here says that they sink this ship, I will be Lewis with the knife right next to you.
I'm going to ship them long and hard on the ship they met.
Yeah!
I like it. But yes, I honestly was not expecting to love this couple as much as I did when I started this show. So yes, I ship it super hard, and we better fucking get an actual marriage scene, please, because they just had their wedding vows. Give it to me.
Read the manga. Oh, is the manga still ongoing?
I think so.
Yes.
I don't know because I haven't gotten that far, but I hope it's ongoing because I just want to see more of this couple, and I want to see more of their growth and development too.
I want, the
let me
tender
see.
moments, and then I really want to see that scene where William protects Sherlock by murdering all the enemies. I want that.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed listening to us talk about our favorite ships, leave us a review on whatever platform you listen to. You are also welcome to send any couple recommendations or questions for our role for ships to our email, battleshipspod@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and we will see you guys next time. Next time, episode 12, Zen and Shirayuki in Snow White with the Red Hair.